Welcome to the Fleuriste Craft Supply YouTube channel. Today we're going to be teaching you how to take a flower with a stem, remove the stem, and redo the flower so that you can use it for a headband. Today we're using our Ruffle Ranunculus, our metallic polka dot fold-over elastic, one felt circle, and a vintage gold button with a pearl center. What you do first with your flowers, flip it over. Most of these stems are easily removable simply by pulling them off the flower, like so. You can just toss that aside. What I like to do, because many suppliers do sell the flowers partially glued together, is just remove the layers from the center stem a couple at a time, lay them back down on top of one another, and sometimes you'll see even a secondary stem further on the inside of the flower. Just keep removing, and eventually you'll get to the center of the flower, which you can just toss out. This is just a plastic piece that you don't need. Now I take the whole flower. Now remember, these are all loose, so you don't want to drop them or move them or get them too far out of shape. I flip it over, and then I grab the very top petal, which is now the bottom of your flower. I hold it down, place a little dab of glue just around the little center hole where the stem was. Take the next petal and angle it around that center hole again. So now your flower looks like this. You're going to go all the way around, adding each layer of petals one by one, making sure to overlap them so that you don't end up with like this spaces where there's just no petal at all. Now all the way along, you can see I'm lining up the holes where the stem was so that the petals are all going to end up still making a flower. You want to be really careful in the center. Sometimes the glue is going to come out through that hole and you could burn yourself, so just go slow and keep an eye out for that. I try not to use a ton of glue because I don't want to end up making the center of that flower super, super thick. So I just try to do a little dab, sometimes a little bit around the edge too. Now that our flower is completely glued together, we're going to place an embellishment in the center. Because if you look really closely in the center now, there's just a hole, and the glue does come through the petals of the flower just a little bit. So we're going to take one of our vintage gold buttons. It's flat on the back, so all you need is just a dab of glue. And we're going to place that in the center of this flower. I'm going to hold it tight for just a couple of seconds so it really sets there. And you're almost done. So now the back will look like this. It is fairly unfinished, so most crafters do want to cover with a piece of felt or maybe even a piece of fabric. We're going to set this flower aside while it continues to dry. We're going to take our elastic, which we've already cut into 15 inches. That's the size that we recommend for most toddlers. I'm going to put a dab of glue here. Overlap the ends just a teeny bit. I like to squeeze them together and then pull just to really set the glue. I'm going to set this elastic right back down, do a strip of glue just over where we've just glued the headband together, and then line the flower up on that strip. So you can see the headband is going pretty much right across the middle of the flower there. So now we're going to flip this over because it does look pretty unfinished still. We're going to take our felt circle, another thing that you can purchase on our website. The link is below in the description for this video. You're going to take the glue and just do a couple of lines there so that the edge of the felt will all adhere to this flower. And just put that right down there in the middle. I like to press it pretty tight, just make sure it's really covering. And now the back of your headband has a nice clean look. And if we flip it over, now you've got a beautiful boutique headband.